It was really, really good. I mean, really good.
Why can't we look at it?
I found it very sort of peaceful.
I mean, when the brain is sizzling and popping and bloop, 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 and the skull is bursting and the feet are going up and sometimes the arm moves just like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the body.
Yeah.
What has the body to do with us? I mean, we look at, that it's the same thing that happens to doctors. The first time, they open a corpse, they all get sick, they all fall, Why? Why? I mean, that's a question, I'm not asking you, Ken, I'm asking why. Why is it, Why do we get sick when we see, when we see an animal, when we roast an animal, a whole pig or a whole cow, we don't fall, in... I mean, we look and, and the gulper, comes out of our mouth. But when we see, the same thing with a human being, we suddenly faint. I mean, I'm really curious why. I mean, ask yourself why. Why is the doctor fainting, the moment? I don't want an answer. I want you to ask yourself, why is that? Why do we faint when we see something like that, Because it's as close as it comes to us. Because then we reflect about our own body, and we see our own self, burning up there. Because we have seen that before. I mean, why do we get, when we see something in a movie, when somebody gets tortured or when somebody gets killed, why do we feel something in here? Because we know it can happen to our body, just the same thing. We are just so damn afraid of it. But now the next question is, what has this stupid body to do with us? Of course we feel sorry when our car gets crashed because we have to buy a new one, but we don't. We're not afraid. Why? Because we still don't know ourselves. We still don't know the truth. I mean, it's something very fascinating to look at. The only thing that doesn't like to look at is Avijja, because it doesn't want to know the truth that this body is born and dies. I mean, Avijja, Padya Sankara, Avijja is the phenomenon to create all. Avijja is a condition for all phenomena to be created. So, I mean, somebody is afraid, it's Avijja. I mean, the Chitta knows these things. It has watched so many. I mean, it has toured every realm, every distant spot in these realms of existence. I mean, it knows everything about it. But Avijja always thinks something is new. We have never seen that. We have never experienced that. It is deluded by itself. That's it. And that's it. And Avijja has deluded Elise, she couldn't even find the way to the cremation, so she couldn't see these things. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's how it works, We just miss the chance,
I was waiting for a long time because I think 1 year ago I witnessed
I don't want excuses, I just say, that is the way it works,
And do you see anything? I don't waste time.
Of course, the Dhamma wants to see it, and we just blocks it out.
So rare, not.
And in fact, yes. I mean, But it's not only, I'm just taking this example. It's the same thing that happens with meditation. We get somewhere, we get close to the kilesas, and then they fool us. They put our attention onto something else, and then we are completely off the track. That's how it works. That's why I call it a big magician. He's so great, He just knows that our attention is on the right spot, and then he takes it off. Just producing another magic trick we have never seen. And it's gone. And we forget completely about it. It's not that I call you stupid, it happened to me just the same way. That's why I tell you. Constantly, he's taking off my attention, and what the hell is going on, I just what was before, and I completely forgot it. And I try to remember until I get, that's what happened. I was at a good spot, I was, just, the kilesas were pretty much, open, for being wounded, And then they closed it, they put my attention somewhere else, and I completely forgot it. Don't underestimate your enemy, That's all what I want to say. Whatever happens, it is, because somebody else is ruling us. It's not us. It is completely... It's so masterful, that it even persuades us, to think Avijja is us. And we believe it. We believe every bit of it. Isn't it? What did I say? KBC? Kilesa Broadcasting Company. Or ABC, Avijja Broadcasting Company, it's just the same thing. And we just believe it, because we heard it so many years, so many lifetimes. How can we not believe it? Just look around, the whole world believes it. As long as they are happy believing it, I don't mind. Just... It's just one way. Shocking the kilesas, Letting the kilesas not know what works for them. Looking at the things that are disgusting, that are ugly. And don't look at the things that are beautiful. Don't do what they think that should be done. And do the things that should not be done. Confuse them, completely confuse them, then bring them, in a state, of complete confusion. Then they really don't know how to hold us. At the moment, they still have their pretty strict rules, how they can catch us. Okay, they catch us with pain, they catch us with fear, they catch us with loathsomeness, and then we stop. But just do the opposite of it, and for a while, and they get completely confused because they don't know what to do. And that actually means a confusing state, that means freedom for us. Because it really doesn't matter what we do and what we observe and how we meditate, it really gets against their rules, their conditioning. And when we look at Paticca Samuppada, it is conditioned. Avijja is a condition for all phenomena to arise. The phenomena are the condition for consciousness to arise. Consciousness is a condition for name and form to arise. Name is meaning. And name and meaning is a condition for feeling to arise. And that's where we mostly catch it. It's conditioned. So if you start fooling, playing tricks on them, their conditioning is not working, and we are free. Until they get it, I mean, they are not stupid. That's why I call them the masters of trickery, the masters of magician. And they find a new pattern, and then we are back into a pattern that we don't know. And we don't see it, for a while. That's why we hold on to something. We hold on to the practice. We hold on to our samadhi. That's what we can hold on. We can hold on to the breath. We can hold on to the Buddha. Or we can hold on to investigation. I mean, no matter what they say, we investigate inside, outside. From upside, from top to bottom, and from bottom to top. From detail to cause, and cause to detail. That's all. That is all our work, If you don't forget that, kilesas or the avijja has very little influence over us. But then we think, if we think about that, that brings up loathsome feelings, or feelings of anger comes up. Actually, it tells us, that we are digging at the right spot. If anger or, any kind of discomforting feelings come up, we know we are hitting the kilesas. Because they are the ones who react. No, I don't like this. So we don't do it. And they fool us. Yeah, there's nothing, isn't there? There's nothing. There's no loathsomeness. I can look at this body, I can even, watch the brain popping up, and sizzling, Think about my cow's brain that we used to eat it before. And they tell us, see, there's nothing, there's nothing loathsomeness in this. And so they trick us again. Because the moment we look at it, we see something else, we don't see ourselves sizzling up there. When we would see our own brain, sizzling up like that, I mean, we didn't want to look like that. I mean, something, really gross comes up. See how they fool us, They make us believe, and they are so good at it. I mean, how can we not believe them? See, there's nothing, it's just, flesh, it's just like charcoal. Charcoal's flesh, Oh, the leg comes up. Oh, okay, that's interesting. But what has it to do with me, There's nothing loathsome, it's just, just like a cow, I'm sizzling up.
I was pretending that was my creed.
Yeah, and so? But the pretending was not good enough.
Oh, it was.
Was it?
It was. All the body meditation I've done produced results. It precipitated results from the body meditation. That's what. It really, really, really. I began to sort of now see body parts and stuff.
Okay. But see how they fool us? All along, for months, they fool us. There's nothing, There's nothing. There's nothing loathsome, I know, It's just, blood, pus, piss, shit. That's all in our body, It's all under the skin. Do we know it? No. We don't want to see it. The moment it comes out through the skin, we wash it away. Oh, there's nothing. We are beautiful, Look in the mirror and fool ourselves. I mean, wasn't there a nice book, it was called Gulliver's Travels?
with the little people to tie it down.
Yeah, and they looked at, Kulim and this all said, it's so disgusting, such a big, tall, person, saw all these grease coming out of, of his skin, and their hairs, they were just like the bamboo forest. I mean, huh? I mean, we just look, our eyes are not perceptive enough. We don't see that gross stuff. I mean, we see the hair as something nice, and we take extra care, skin care, about that our skin becomes smooth and is not, not coarse, not itching, and our hair, gets special shampoo so that it shines, and it glitters, and there's no fat or no grease in it. Wonderful, we fool ourselves, but we don't know that we fool ourselves. We have an idea that we fool ourselves, but we don't want to believe that we fool ourselves. And the master of foolery or the master of trickery is nothing else than Avijja. Yeah?
Since I saw the cremation, like now, I can feel my whole skeleton. And I can be a skeleton walking around. Like my lungs and just the windpipe. I can feel the two kidneys and all this stuff now. I don't feel or see the outside. I'm seeing the inside and feeling it. Okay. And that's quite extraordinary to me. And it's a very strange feeling to be a skeleton walking around.
Now do the next thing, everybody else that you see, you see a skeleton as well.
Look,
that's funny.
That before.
I mean, that is funny.
No, I can see it. And it's like my jawbone. It's like what you can take the jawbone off, and it's just the skull with the teeth.
And then let these skeletons, do the things that they do in the world, and this is the biggest, that would be the biggest hit movie in the world. It's so hilarious. Huh?
It is.
Just look at two skeletons kissing each other.
We're just walking from the Kuti down to the Salo this morning as a skeleton. It was like,
I had. When I did this, it was in the first or second year I was a monk. I was doing this, whenever I saw a person, I changed it in skeletons until I could see everybody in skeleton and then watch it. It was so hilarious. Just imagine, two people making love to each other, seeing them as skeletons. Who's the woman, who's the male? They're hopping, the bones clapping. This would be the number one selling movie. And look at all the things, they eat, then they put
the book, the Mahabharata book, has all the photographs. All of a sudden, now that one is even better because he has the skeleton, the woman, and then the woman in a bikini, and then the woman half skeleton, half in a skeleton in a bikini. It's pretty absurd. But finally, I'm getting results on the body investigation.
Yeah,
that really
keep on it. Yeah, you got results, and then 2 months. They tricked you again 2 months. They said, I don't see anything. I can do whatever. You told me I can do whatever, but I can't see it anymore. So it must have been gone.
No. I'm saying is that it just didn't. I couldn't get loathsomeness out of it. And now it's strange. The cremation I didn't find loathsome at all because I thought it was very beautiful. In clean, it's sort of spiritual, but being able to see my body parts and being able to feel and walk around as a skeleton, I can imagine myself like it's just bones walking around, and then I hang some lungs on it.
Now, then the next time, just take the bones out, and just take the soft things, walking around.
Okay. Well, how do you walk around?
Just the skin walking around.
Oh, okay.
The skin, and some loose things hanging in there.
Oh, okay.
I mean the lungs and the blood, and the veins, just hanging there loose,
Okay.
I mean, that is really cross, isn't it?
Well, just someone, just for lungs walking around parallel. It's like, that's kind of weird.
I mean, the intestines hanging around.
Also. But I mean, it's just reality somehow. It's like getting in touch on a real basic level.
The people behind you have some very great difficulties.
I don't think anybody wants to hear this comment.
No, of course nobody wants to hear it.
Okay.
That's why we don't hear it. Do you hear it somewhere in any meditation courses, in any meditation centers? Around the world, do you hear this kind of talk? No. And why? Because we don't like it. And because we don't like it, we don't hear it. And because we don't like it, we don't want to hear it. And if somebody talks about it, we get angry and get up, and leave.
It's special to the forest monks to speak. It's special to the forest monks to speak like this.
Yes. It's not only that the forest monks speak like that, we have to remember where the forest tradition is coming from. It's coming directly from the teachings of the Lord Buddha. And there's actually one sutta left, that I remember, where the Lord Buddha talked about loathsomeness of the body, to 500 bhikkhus. The bhikkhus got so disgusted, they killed themselves after this talk. We remember that, don't we? When we read a little bit in the sutta. So the Lord Buddha did the same thing, just as we did. But now in the West, of course, like I said the last time, I don't know if I said it in German or not, I mean we keep the old people in old people's homes. So we don't see old people on the street. The sick people we keep in hospital. We don't see any sick people. And the dead people, we bury. So we don't see any dead people on the streets. All what we see on the streets are young people, fresh, healthy people. So we are never confronted with death, with sickness, old age. When we go when we go into a hospital, we feel so uncomfortable. So at this ease, just the smell of the hospital, just all this mourning, of the people in there. I mean, we feel so... we feel really sick, and, we try, to make this visit as short as possible. The same thing, when we visit some old people in an old people's home. Just the same thing. I mean, it's so depressing. I mean, look at these old people, they don't even know what to do with themselves. They have no friends, the young people are not going to bother with them because they are old crap. So whenever we go there, we feel so depressed. Just like in a hospital. And when we go in a cemetery, they're just the same thing. I mean, this should tell us something, shouldn't it? I mean, we are avoiding constantly in the West. We are so great, In India, you see that the people, that people, burned, on the river of the Ganges and so on. You see old people on the street, sick people. But in the West, we just swept out everything that is unpleasant to our side. Wonderful, so we don't need to see it. So we don't need to confront ourselves with the ugliness of life. And we will realize it only the moment, we get sick or we get old. I mean, then suddenly your children, push you in the elderly home. And then you think, you're still a little bit, intelligent, and then you look at these older people, and you feel you're completely out of place. But you know, it doesn't take a long time, you know, until you get just like that. It's just like, you know, people in the hospital, you know, get. But we, of course, you know, the healthy people, yeah. I mean, we are out on the street. We enjoy our freedom. We don't have to be locked up in a hospital or in an elderly home. Huh? But the time will come, you know, where they lock us up. And in the hospital, you know, it's the time to die. Yeah. How many people die in a hospital per day? If it's a big hospital, not only once per day. It's a factory of death. That's why we don't like to go there. It's a factory of sickness, of pain, of suffering. That's why we don't like to go there. Who the hell, you know? I want to have my fun. I don't want to see these things. So just the question is, why don't we want to see this thing? Because we know sooner or later the same thing will happen to us. Point. Sooner or later the same thing will happen to us. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 20 years or if it's just 5 years. Maybe it's 40 years. When we're still young, maybe it's 50 years. But sooner or later it will happen to us. Sooner or later, you know, we will drop dead. We drop sick. We are pushed, depending on the karma. And then we have to die. And then they burn us just up, you know, just like the woman they burned up, you know, a few days ago. And then our brain sizzles just like that. I mean, just get the imagination. I just tell you, to get the picture within your inner eyes and get the picture, of a sizzling brain, exploding brain, because of all the wetness that is in the brain. And there's a lot of wetness in the brain. And the cracking of the bones, I mean, this will happen to us. To this very body that we think that is us. But it has nothing to do with us. Because the moment we are dead, we're gone. Most of us don't even care, about the dead body, Our family, prepares such a nice, burial. But we are gone long ago. I mean, the moment we are dead, we are gone. We're not sticking around because something is grabbing us and dragging us to the place where we are reborn. We don't even have time to look at our burial. Most of us don't have. And the family and the friends have the feeling that he's still there. So. But most of the time it's not the case. I mean, they die, and they instantly are drawn to hell. I mean, if you don't like to hear that, it's fine, but it's reality. We should face up reality. But it's good, people don't like to hear it, so I better stick to Thailand, I don't even get out of Thailand. Because the people here face it. Look at the Thai newspapers, they put it on the first page. I mean, motorbike accident, the driver dies, and the skull is half open and the brain, brain is, flowing out on the street. And they take a picture and put it on the first page of the newspaper. I mean, in Europe or in America, this would not be allowed. They would find it gross, they would file it, file a suit against it. Why? Because, Buddhism is the main religion here in Thailand. And then it's Asupa is one of the teachings of the Lord Buddha. And Asupa is the only thing, is the only teaching that gets us across, greed and hate. That lets us conquer greed and hate. I mean, sorry to say, there's nothing else. There are exceptions, of course. There's one exception that is called up in the suttas, but don't even think that you're this exception. If you're this exception, you wouldn't be listening to what I'm saying. There's one exception, where there was a monk ordained, and he was doing a supa. I mean, think about it, If you think a supa was not taught by the Lord Buddha, then the story I told you about the 500 monks that killed themselves after a talk of the Lord Buddha, I mean, where does it come from when he didn't teach that? I mean, what we want to hear is that he taught the first jhana, then enter the second jhana, the third jhana, the fourth jhana, and then, reflect about death, and reflect about your previous life, and then enter Nibbana. That's what we want to hear, don't we? That's nice. I mean, it's just so easy. So we don't remember, the things that, the other suttas that he mentioned, that are more predominant. It gives us a clue, about what he's teaching. And he said that you go out in the forest alone, go out into fearful places, into dragging places where people don't want to go, and there go for yourself, and face up. That's one thing, forest tradition. The other thing is, he talks about the supa. Well, there's quite a few suttas about it. When he led his monks, to the corpse of a sopani, what is the sopani? A prostitute. And the monk, who fell in love with this prostitute, the Lord Buddha said, you stay there until the complete body is completely rotten away and eaten up by the worms. Why? I mean, if the Lord Buddha didn't know, who knows? Are we much cleverer than the Lord Buddha? Just think about it. Are we cleverer? Yes, we are cleverer. Because we have studied at university and the Lord Buddha didn't. Yeah. We studied his text, The Lord Buddha didn't study his text. That's why we are cleverer than the Lord Buddha. And then that's why we go on and say, this we don't need to do and this we don't need to do, because the times have changed. Of course the times have changed, but the kilesas have not changed a bit. Avijja has not changed at all. The tricks are still the same thing. I mean, it just has new things to play with. That is one thing. In the exception, I was talking about, I was pointing out it. Sariputta taught one of the monks who came in he taught a supa. And then after 3 years, I don't remember correctly, maybe after 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, I mean, this monk came and said, I really don't have any results with this supa practice. But Sariputta wasn't as clever as the Lord Buddha. He didn't know what to do. He said, this should have result. The Asupa practice should have result. So at least this monk, went to the Lord Buddha and asked, what shall I do? And then the Lord Buddha looked, and he saw that within the last 7 lives, he was a goldsmith, making the most beautiful things, most detailed things. So he told him, you should watch anicca of beautiful things. You should watch, how beautiful things, decay and get cross, And once he listened to the Lord Buddha, within no time he was an arahant. So for some people, it might be, just seeing that beautiful things, creation of beautiful things, that enjoy our heart, are just anicca, are just impermanent, are just going to go otherwise, are just going to fall apart. So what is the purpose of creating beautiful things? Because we like it. What's the purpose, of fleeing away from unbeautiful things? Because we don't like it. So for most of us, who have a lot of hate within us, that is a super. That is the perfect way. Of course, we should see, we should look at the impermanence of beautiful things. I mean, it did that quite, what was it? There was a very conceited woman, if I remember correctly, in one of the suttas. She was absolutely gorgeous, beautiful.
Yeah,
and she thought herself, and she was conceited about this beauty. So the Lord Buddha let her look into a mirror where she saw herself, with 90 years. Everything fallen apart. And she got so shocked, And then she realized Avijja. And she entered the stream. If I remember correctly. So there's nothing wrong, talking about and looking within oneself, taking the guts and intestines out and opening the intestines up and looking at the shit in them. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, we take all the playthings that we have within our house, we take apart because we want to know how it works. So why can't we take the plaything that we call body apart and see how it works? Because we have this Christian view, because we come from the Christian society that says you can't open up a corpse. And until the 17th century or 18th century, it was forbidden by law to open up a body in Europe by the church. So the good physicians, went over to Asia or to the Middle East to study medicine. There was a very good book about that. I don't know, I don't remember. It's a bit tough. So, we were not allowed to open a body. We were not allowed to see the inside of the body. It was a sacrilege. And that's why we don't show pictures, of people rotting in our newspapers or on the news. We show accidents, yes. But normally, we don't show these pictures. I mean, just look at next time, go to town, look at some of the newspapers, the Thai newspapers. I mean, you see cross pictures, that are really disgusting for our sense of taste. Just because we don't want to get rid, we just don't want to get rid of the illusion of this body. We just don't want. That's nothing, So we have to force it. That's why we do a super. Some unpleasant feelings in your stomach. It's okay, that's good. Look at it. Deal with it. Yes, but you don't look good.
I'm alright with it.
Yeah?
I thought it was a good idea to go and check it out, but I didn't want any distractions in my practice, so I didn't want to have to go and walk.
It's practice. It's practice. It's the same thing. It's practice.
I've tried a few beats before, man. It's all the same.
Next time you barbecue your brain?
My brain?
Yeah. Sure. Or your body, your intestines, your stomach, or your heart, or, barbecue whatever you can do.
But the fire is very rare, I waited for this.
Or just cut off your leg, and then barbecue it,
I miss it too. Because I tended one, I didn't see anything. Presumption again now.
It doesn't matter, I told you in the beginning, it's not, Avijja is in power over us, It just doesn't let us see the things it doesn't want to see. It does not want to destroy its own illusion about itself. That's why it's so difficult, to get it. You really have to hammer it in. I mean, it's not, it doesn't say, okay, come on, I show you my weaknesses, just hit on me. I mean, it is, it disguises its weaknesses and you fall for the things, It shows you one thing and says, okay, yes, that's where you should work on. And you work on for years until you see there is no result in it. Because Avijja was leading you. If Dhamma would lead you, it leads to results. Sooner or later. And you will see it.
I never had this opportunity in Singapore. No way.
I mean, next time, there will always the next time,
But how often you get one dying at one area?
Well, I mean, there are quite a few older ladies there.
Oh. I hope it's not people say you're waiting for someone to do Ashura practice.
I mean, people die, People are dying every day. People are born every day. I mean, you have the chance, when you go to a village, there's death, last time I went out, within 3 months there were 4 deaths, I looked up, I just looked at the corpses, I mean, they're all, the eyes, coming out and the fingers like that, I mean, just from the face, of the dead people, where they are now. They're not smiling, they're not smiling, they're not peaceful. I mean, they're longing for something, and then you see it in the expression the moment they die. And then you know exactly where they have gone. If not to hell, then at least in the prayed. What is prayed? Hungry ghost there. I mean, it's so sorry, when you look at that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you ask?
Because in the past I read the books. It says that in the past they leave the corpse in open for a couple of days. It's bloated. Then they cremate it. Right? But nowadays you don't do it, so you can get.
Sometimes you get the chance, getting a bloated corpse, but it's mostly police corpse. They find somewhere, hidden in the forest or find in the water. You can see that. But normally, if a person dies within a house, it's put into a sarcophagus. What do you call it in the coffin? Yes. I know only the Latin name. Put in a coffin and it's kept for 3. It cannot be kept more than for 3 days, at most 3 days. When it's cool, you can keep it for 7 days in the house to pay respects, to pay the last respect. But they are gone already. Most people, I went, they invite the monks to chant, and then there was nothing. They were gone already. I mean, what's the use of keeping that dead body? Not the vinyan, the spirit or the chitta is not interested in it because the chitta has been drawn into hell already. And then chant, for the good merit of these people. The people have not done anything good in their whole lives. I mean, when they hear that, they turn around, and it is like, you cut them up, When you chant, may your good merit lead you to heaven, And then they know, because they know that the only ones, the moment they are dead, they are knowing that they have nothing done good, all what they done was greed and hate. And then you chant, may your good deeds lead you to heaven, And then, they just want to rip you off, because they don't want to hear that. They know where they are gone. And you feel that, sometimes you chant that, you feel that, they can't hear that. Because they are really, it really rips them apart, it's just like you hammer nails into their wounds. They know they had wasted their human life, not doing anything good. And now what they have done was against the 5 preachers. So the moment you mention that to them, it's just hammering another nail. So just don't mention it. I mean, they know it for themselves, you don't have to remind them of that.
Is that how you feel when you do the chanting over the funeral? I mean, they are whatever.
Not all the people, but with the most common people, yes.
When you do the chanting,
yes. I mean, you feel it.
Your heart reads it, right? Your heart doesn't read it.
They don't like to hear it. And they can get quite nasty, when you're alone in a cave, and there are some ghosts and hungry ghosts in there. I mean, suddenly you feel, somebody's, trying to press your throat. Just because you chanted. Something good, something wrong. I've met with our beings. And somebody tries to choke you, And they don't like to hear that. Very unhappy people, and they can't even share in the merit. The only thing that they can share, could be sharing, is with the merit of their relatives. But the relatives don't care because they soaked up all the money and merits they had, and use it for themselves. And people are greedy. We don't like to share, do we? Most of us don't like to share. I hope, just listening to this, if you're new to it, some of you know it already because I've talked quite a bit of it. If you feel very uncomfortable, it shows you that's the area where you have to work. When you feel uncomfortable, when you feel at dis-ease, what I talked about today, I mean, that is the area where you have to investigate. Because it shows you that's where the sensibilities of us lie. That's what whatever is hidden, the sensibility shows us, something is hidden behind it. Okay, let's get it out, so nothing can, disturb us anymore. Get it out, get it over with it. Dig it out. Open it up, see, there's nothing to it, I mean, we always think that this body is us. I mean, get rid of this idea. The body is a biological raw body, That's it. Nothing else. It's a car. I mean, the driver doesn't die when the car, rots away. Does it? Normally not, huh? Only in an accident, both go. Both might go. So what has the car to do with the body, or with the driver? What has the body to do with the chitta? Nothing. Body is one of the khandhas. Memory is another of the khandhas. Feeling is another of the khandhas. Thought is another of the khandhas. Consciousness is another khandha. I mean, what have they to do with the chitta? Nothing at all. I mean, get to know it for yourself, just get into the state, where thinking ceases, and you will get a little glimpse of it. And go to the deeper state of samadhi, where all the 5 khandhas just disappear completely. And then something is left, and that is the thing that we have to care about. About that something, not about a stupid thing like the body. We don't have to care about that. We have to care that that we can use it as a tool. That's it. Use it as a tool. We have to care it in the sense to feed it, to wash it, to keep it healthy, as good as we can. But not to care, if it's dead or dying or whatever, other things like that. To use it as a tool, to jump into the stream that leads us automatically to Nibbana. And from that day on, we don't have any fears about going down to hell. No fear whatsoever. Because the moment we jumped into the stream, that's the end of the hell. And all the realms lower than the human realm. We can't go there. We can't possibly go there. Because we are on the stream to Nibbana. That leads out of all this. But as long as we have not entered the stream, we are constantly swirled around in this universe. Swirled around in all 36 realms of existence. So. That's a nice talk. Actually, I didn't want to talk about this today, but it just came up. I want to ask something else, isn't it? Alice. How many years are you coming now?
Sorry?
How many years are you coming now? 2 years.
Oh, I first met you 2006, the last quarter.
2006.
Yeah, but I only came.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But only from 2008 you came
Yes.
more regularly.
So I should say I genuinely see Qian as this is my fourth retreat.
And Ken, something like that, 2008 or 2007 or 2008.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it must be 2007. Huh?
It's been some number of years. I came the first time, and then it was maybe almost a year.
Yes.
I came the second time. I came the first time, and shortly after came the second time, then the third time maybe was a year. And I've been here now 7 months.
I would say yes. I would say, to 2 years you come more regularly. The first time, you always sniffed in, and run away.
No,
Can you remember me when I came on the last quarter of 2006?
I don't remember.
That time I think, what's that called? The arena or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of, that time was a lot of Western people, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
After that, that was once and I left. Then only late last year I came. I must go for
And now imagine why they don't come, because they don't want to hear it. It's clear. They come for a while, and they don't want to hear this stuff.
That time was quite a huge gathering, eh?
Yes. There were some years where there were lots of people, and there are years there were hardly.
Because I heard your talk.
And now, actually there are quite a few people here. No?
But I guess this sort of grouping is just nice.
Whatever. But that wasn't the question I wanted to ask. In that, I just wanted to know if you have the feeling that something of my style of teaching has changed.
I can't comment, Ajahn, because in a very right perspective, because I came at 2006 and I left, and I know the reason, and I paid for the karma. I suffered 3 years because of self-conceit.
No, just from the time, you came more regularly. I just wanted to know that.
Oh, since 2008, my fourth retreat, have you changed your style? No, except that after I left, there's one gentleman. He's very intelligent, very investigative, I don't know. He asked a lot of very deep, provoking questions. I knew that from what I heard, he didn't have much background knowledge about Buddhism, but the question he asked is very thought-provoking. And you gave a lot of the most interesting talk throughout all the years of talks you gave to me in that month of December after I left in November. There's
last year?
Yeah. You talk a lot on karma.
2009?
Yes, December. I think beginning of December till third week of December he left. He sounds like very American.
No, but that, that wasn't the question I asked.
Your style.
The style. I didn't say about, the contents. I mean, of course the contents constantly change. Style.
The more I hear, the style is very much like Wang Da already, because I now listen very much like Wang Da, except your way expressing it. Like you saying, breaking the things down to basic components. Long Da also say, when you do investigation, break it down to the anicca, dukkha, anatta, or the elements too. Of course, but the way of presenting it, each person has their personality. Even, I guess, like the way you fight, no regards for life or pain, quite in that manner.
Okay.
Yeah.
A few years ago, there was a lot more like questions and answers all the way through, and your talk would frequently be on several unrelated topics based on the questions that were asked. Now I think you're giving like really strong where you start at the beginning and there'll be no questions and you just talk for, I don't know, an hour and a half or something like that. And you might, like in that article, circle around a bit, but then you bring it together and it becomes really strong. And I think that to me is the biggest change I see in the style. They're more, there's not so much interaction with the guest, so much as you come and either whether you have the topic in your head or whether somebody asks a stupid question or suggests a good topic, you then start talking. I won't mention any names. But I think the style has changed. But you seem to, I don't know, there were times when it seemed you were a little like burned out because you were frustrated because everybody would come and stay for 2 days and they would be saying, oh, well, in Chiang Mai, we did it this way. In Burma, it's this and this. And that would sort of turn you off. And I don't know, I think a lot of it's this change in style, I think, has developed from several little talks to one big talk. And in that sense, it's much more powerful. I think you've given this time that I've been here, you've given the best and most powerful talk.
Especially the month of December. The month of December, the talk. Because I heard I heard you commented. You commented that Ajahn gave excellent talk this time. Because I heard that December.
Remember the time I said sadhu?
Yes, that is in December. Recent.
You remember that?
What?
When I said sadhu?
Oh,
yeah. I think it was the 30th of October or something.
No, December.
November.
Yeah.
Or October. I
can't even remember what it was about, but it was just
excellent.
Super.
Yeah.
It was really
I love Ajahn that time.
It was when you came in and you said, I've got an idea.
Oh. Yeah.
Do you remember one? Yeah.
But I like I mean, the content plus here minus that is the same, but because in your talk you offer many ways of looking at our arch enemy, which is very interesting, and the kind of tricks. And then when you practice, of course when I hear, I know what you're talking about in English, but I could not relate it within the canvas itself. But as you practice, and you observe how they throw me out of the box, and you say, oh, now I know what you meant by it already. So it's very interesting. How Ajahn, he described the attack and the counter-attack. And also another thing, you describe so clear how the mind works. And I have not so far heard that from anyone. So it's quite a comfort. That means all of us seems to work on the same track.
Some things take a while to sink in and to understand. And like I had a hard time understanding equanimity. But I feel equanimity. I had a hard time wrestling with that. I think I understand it now. I mean, in a way that is so profound. And it's so, and the whole thing about how to get rid of anger at first seemed, looking into yourself, at first that seemed a little strange. It was sort of hard to do, but once you see it, all of a sudden it just seems obvious. It's one of these things that once you know, you can't not know. You can't forget.
This will always happen. I mean, what Elise said and what you said. I mean, the moment we really start fighting, we will see the results. We will see and we will understand. Because we face it ourselves. Our own experience will tell us, yes, now. And only then, then we really understand. If, as long as we hear, we just hear words. And we have our ideas about what he might have meant, But, what is it, one saying in German is, don't even think that you understand what I'm saying, because that's what you think that I said, but it's not what I said. And only the moment you make the experience for yourself, you will understand.
You recognize it.
You recognize it.
Yeah.
And then you recognize it, and that happened to me the same thing with my venerable teaching master. I mean, he said things, and I understood it, but it was much more direction, path to follow. And then, then his description, he gives quite a bit of description in his talks to the monk. And then after you've done that, you find it. But, the description he gives is only the moment you have made the experience, and then you can look back through the door, and looking back through the gate is very different than looking in the front of the gate. Because, we're always trying in our practice to look at the front of the gate, but no really teaching master tells us the front of the gate. The only taker tells us the moment you pass that gate, and you look back. Then you see, and then you understand what he's talking about. But of course, Avijja doesn't want to show us it, so that's why we can't see it.
Actually, I
but
sorry. Lost track. Sorry.
Well, I asked you the question. Yes, that it might be interesting. I don't know. Probably the talks have developed. Yes, of course, in the beginning when I started, it was just question and answer. But that wasn't the thing I was talking about. I think just in the last 3 or 4 weeks, there was also a change. I do watch myself. I do observe myself, and I think, what's going on? That's interesting.
You find there's a change in your style yourself personally?
I mean, I'm not my, I'm still watching the 5 khandhas, what they are doing. I mean, when I still watch the 5 khandhas, of course I know what is going on. Or I think I know what is going on.
Oh, have you found home?
I mean, the 5 khandhas are working on their own laws, It's karma, they're working on. But it has nothing to do with the ticker, So you look at it, you just see yourself in a movie acting, and you think, your acting has changed. You didn't act like that before. Now, I just wanted to know if you noticed it, but maybe you have not noticed it.
I think it's changed. I think it's changed for the better, in a way that.
Well, I hope so. If it changed for the worse, I get up my things and go away.
No, I'm saying.
Personally, John, I really hope you would talk more on the character tendency, because it really helps one. Because ultimately,
I mean, you get what you need, you know.
I was very greedy, right?
No, what I think I noticed. The topic gets deeper and more serious. The style gets lighter.
Well, sometimes you're like a comedian almost, because you're describing.
And that I have never been.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just absurd. You know what I mean? It's like, so.
That one time you laughed, you couldn't stop laughing.
And that is the thing, you know, that has changed.
That's new?
Yes, that's new. I was never a comedian. And that must have changed, you know, just this year. Over the last 6 or 8 months. Huh?
What's the underlying reason?
Huh?
What's the underlying reason for the change?
I don't know. I mean, it seems, you know, to be light, not to be so much concerned, right? I don't know what the underlying reason is. I'm still watching. I'm still observing. I'm observing myself, you know. I mean, I wonder, you know, you haven't seen me smoking, you know, for a few weeks now when I come here. But on Sunday...
Putting out the extra.
Huh?
We still keep putting out...
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe there is a time, you know, where come over. But, you know, on Saturday there was a group, you know. You remember. There was a group, and then I brought my cigarettes. I don't know why I brought my cigarettes. I thought, you know, maybe it's useful. And then half of the group was smoking, so... Actually, through me smoking, you know, I gave them, you know, the allowance, you know, to smoke for themselves. Because if they couldn't smoke, you know, a smoker, you know, can't smoke, he doesn't sit very long. I mean, he doesn't listen very long. I found that, you know, just observing this, I found it interesting. You know, what is happening, you know? I'm just looking, you know, just observing a movie. Hey, that's interesting, you know? But I'm observing the movie about myself, right? That's the whole reason why I'm asking. Right? Because I see these changes. There's some much. It looks much lighter, you know. I was much more pressing. I think I was much more pressing a few years ago. Harsher.
Stern.
Yeah, stern. Yeah. Okay. That's enough for today.